welcome to Wirral Footy Talk, and we've got a very special guest today, close friend of mine, Michael Gormeley. How you doing, Mick?
I'm all right, mate, yeah.
AKA Gormo,
yeah.
for nickname.
Yeah, pleasure to be here.
So, welcome to the podcast, well, it's Wirral Footy Talk, mate.
Thanks very much.
And we'll go through your story in a minute. Just a few things first. Unlucky to Zambia the other day, getting beaten in the playoffs 2-1. Hope you can turn it back round. Really hope you can turn it back round on Sunday in the second leg. They did okay, conceded 2 goals off set plays, you know, and let's hope they can turn it round, Mick, on Sunday.
Yeah, I hope so. Not really a massive Zambia fan, but, you know, they're a local team and we want them to do well, don't we?
We do, so. Mate. There's a special mention today as well for Edward Jones, who signed for Man City on Monday night. He's one of my EPD under-8s. Very proud coach. Well done, Edward.
Well done, buddy.
Yeah, he got into Man City's main team. Went on trial and got in.
Amazing.
All pictures on the Insta of him signing in the ground. Man City have looked after him professionally. Like, it's been brilliant.
Hopefully he'll start his life and, you know,
something he loves. Be half as good as you, eh, Mick?
I don't know about that.
We got his first interview as well.
Yeah, he got his first interview. Yeah.
Amazing.
So, just a quick one before we start the show. Nuno's left Wolves, mate.
Wow, didn't know that.
You didn't know? It's just come on Sky Sports just now, yeah. What do you think about that? I'm a bit shocked myself.
Well, maybe the Sammy job's up for, the Tottenham job's up for grabs.
Hopefully
it was a little dig at Sammy there. But yeah, Tottenham.
Yeah,
maybe he'll end up there.
That's a good point, that, mate, with the Tottenham job he's left now, because there'll be many managers going for that.
Watch this space, mate.
Watch this space. So, welcome, Mike. We'll start off. Where did it all start?
Obviously, youth level. I think we both went to the same school, Wirral, didn't we?
Wirral, we did.
They were pretty much cricket orientated. It was tough to play football at Wirral because there was no football pitch.
Yeah, I remember they'd only give us a tennis ball on
tennis balls to play football. So
yeah,
I think that might have helped me on later on in my career for my touch.
It helped me in a tackle.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, that was cricketing orientated, the school, and I didn't really take to the football in the early days there until I went to Woodchurch when I was about 11, and my granddad took me down to watch local football, watch sides like the Avenue, great sides, you know, really great players, and it took me to Zambia to watch the Avenue versus the Hobbies.
Yeah, I think I went that game myself.
Yeah, it was a national final. They were from Norwich and they drew 2-2, and it just got me into, you know, amateur football and started really kick-starting me into football because it was something that I wanted to be then.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough to make it, but in them early days, we all think we're going to make it, don't we?
We all do, mate. We all have the dream, don't we? And if you didn't have the dream, we all wouldn't do it, would we?
You wouldn't. And it was just from them on, watching them players. It was for me.
So what players are we talking about there, mate? Because it's a very important part of the Wirral's tradition, you know, in that big trophy in the National Cup.
Yeah, well, there was the likes of Kenny McKenna, Chris Camden, Steve Jones, Harry Wiggins.
I played with Harry at the Vic.
Regarded probably the greatest amateur football player Birkhead's ever seen, really.
Yeah. And
not to make it, you know, but it's for him, isn't it, that? But
who else was it? Do you know? Do you remember the side? John Aware?
I don't know whether John Aware played in that game. If he is, I'm sorry, John. You know, so there was lots of really good players. Really good players. I think Kenny went on to, you know, good stuff with Telford as long as, you know, with Harry.
Yeah.
And Chris Camden had a good career, didn't he? You know, Golden Boot winner. Played with Stan Collymore.
He did, yeah.
You know, up at Stafford, I believe. So amazing to watch them and think, I want to do this. That's for me.
And that's what really gave you the bit between.
Well, it was amateur football, but the whole stand was full. Whether it be 5,000-6,000 or something, it was for me. I wanted to be that. Yeah. I wanted to be that lad on the pitch. Brilliant. Straight away at 11. So Woodchurch High School, not the greatest of teams. There was a side that used to upset us all the time, St Benedict's.
Yeah.
And in that side, there was the likes of Kevin Thompson, Tally, Gary Jones, not Mojo, Gary Jones, who played for Samia, Speedy. So basically,
good pool of talent there.
They absolutely upset us all the time. You know, we couldn't win a thing with them. So it was a bit demoralising for Woody High School at that time.
Did you hold your own against other teams though?
Yeah, we were quite fine against the likes of St Mary's and stuff like that, if I can remember.
They were just exceptional.
They were an exceptional school. I think we got to the quarters of the Merseyside Shield one year, and I think we ended up coming up against St Benedict's.
Oh, all the teams.
So I think it's very much like, you know, the national, where they pit you against your regional teams. So basically, St Benedict's knocked us out basically.
And who was in your school team? Because we mentioned Benedict's. Who was in yours?
Paul Murphy, David Aiton, a good player, went on to do good things. I can't remember the rest of them in school, to be fair. It wasn't a great time, school football, because of St Benedict's, should we say. So
did you play school for grassroots teams then as well?
I played for Wallasey Albion, Wallasey Wanderers and Greenleys, and again, that pool of players upset us on the grassroots as well, because they all played for Olympic, which were the side to be with. You know, they were the good kids, top sides, So they upset us, and you know, to this day I don't speak to any of them.
Did you win? Were you playing in goal then, Mick? Or were you playing?
No, I was actually playing out then.
Playing out then?
Yeah, I was playing out, and obviously we'll go on to the goalkeeper story later on, which is we're all mad, aren't we?
So how come you played for the Wallasey teams, being a Woodchurch though?
I can't quite remember how it happened, to be fair. There was a guy that used to take some sort of training down the Woodchurch.
Yeah.
And I think he was after some local lads to pick up and take to Wallasey Albion and Wallasey Wanderers, because the home pitch was on Manor Road, you know, by Hayfield School.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so the home pitch was there, but again, that period then when I was starting to get into football, it was pretty tough, because there was my alpha was on holiday at HMP, probably somewhere, and I had to bike it there, you know, on me rally burner or something. Wow. So it was tough. My mum didn't drive, so it was tough getting there, and you know, and playing football at the same time. But you loved it.
That's a great story. So you were biking to football.
I was biking,
and training, and playing, and then biking home.
Yeah, and you know, obviously, if the away games, you get picked up, obviously, but it was just to the Manor Drive one. But yeah, I loved it. I loved the early doors, and then lost my little way, because I started watching Liverpool very, very early. I think it was about 13 or something like that. I was watching Liverpool.
Do you remember your first game?
I do, actually, yeah. I watched European night against Lech Poznan. John Walk scored a hat-trick.
Wow.
4-0 we won. And again...
Where were you, in the ground?
Cop.
And the Cop?
Cop, yeah, about £1.80 in at the time.
Wow.
And again, I was hooked.
Yeah.
I was hooked on football anyway, but I was massively hooked on Liverpool then.
What hooked you about the Cop? Was it the energy and the singing? And
just everything about it.
Swaying.
Goosebumps, you know, every time you walk in and see the grass. Again, you wanted to be that person on the pitch. It was just magical, absolutely magical. But yeah, loved it. So them early days were taken over with Liverpool, and then we come to obviously the open age football, and which is a strange one, very strange. So
what age are you talking about? Because a lot of us started early, didn't we?
Yeah, I started very early. I was 16.
16,
and I played for Woodchurch Communicator then at the time. Roly Povell was the manager then.
Yeah.
And we were in the Wallasey League. And for the first season, I was only like a bit part player, playing out as well. And then the second season, I got in a little bit more and just loved it. And we went unbeaten in the Wallasey League. Wow. Invincibles. In the Wallasey second, I think it was.
Was there a few teams in the Woodchurch pub then, or just one team? Because sometimes there was one in the bar, one in the lounge.
We never really, we weren't run from the Woodchurch really.
Oh, right.
Which was a little bit bizarre. we were called the Woodchurch Communique, but we buried in the Pelican.
Right.
So we're talking around 96 now.
Yeah.
No, maybe a bit early, 95, 95. And we were buried in the Pelican then. Ah, some great times.
Some great times, isn't it?
We were selling spotter balls in the Pelly, you know, with Woodchurch on.
Yeah.
You know, Irene Povil, God rest her. So she used to sew them up. So one of us would win them, you know. So we were out all day. So we would stay out. You know, the whole team won every single one, you know. So, but obviously Rowley's passed away as well now, and God rest him as well. So, but great times.
Yeah. So was Rowley the player manager?
He was.
Because you know he was a tough nut. He wasn't a bad player, was he?
Yeah, he was decent. Yeah, he was decent. And at the time, Billy Platt was playing as well, which we'll go on to Billy Platt a lot later on in the story, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was. It was like a baptism of fire when you're going in at 16 and you're playing with these fellas, and we were playing like against the sides like Stanley's Cask, Liso Youth, the Old Bank, Old Colonial, Goresdale, really tough
Because a lot of people knock the Wallasey teams, they can do. But every time I come across a Wallasey team when we played in the cups and stuff like that,
yeah,
they were really good sides.
Yeah, I mean, it was a decent standard, and I mean, there was a lot of alehouses in it, you know what I mean, who would boot you all over the show. Yeah. And I mean, again, that's just the way it was.
At 16, it's tough and
it's your learning curve. Yeah. It's your learning curve, and it's either, you know, fight or fly, innit?
Sink or swim.
Yeah, whatever you want to go with.
So you started off with the Woodchurch Hotel with Rowley.
Yes.
And then did you move to the Woodchurch with Billy?
I did, yeah. We folded with Rowley. Just I don't know what happened there. We just folded. We had made to the second or first, folded, and I joined Billy, and I was still young, and I remember Billy saying, "We've got a friendly tonight against the Archers." And you know what the Archers were like. But it was on Kings Lane at Bevington on the school pitch. I was playing fullback.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was playing fullback. And I done okay.
Were they all 6 foot then?
Massive,
all big size,
massive lads, and a couple of brothers I remember playing for them. I can't remember the names.
We're all good lads though, but they're strong side.
Strong, and you're 16, aren't you? You just want to boot you off the pitch, basically. And or cause as much damage as possible if you were decent. Yeah. I played fullback that game, and I thought, I'm in here.
Hold your own.
Yeah. So our first game was against the Brow, and our pitch was the up by St Benedict's school. It was on the slope. I know. That was our own pitch. So it was a midweek game playing against the Brow. Gets to the change rooms, no goalkeeper. So I'm like, I'll go and goal, Bill. And he said, are you sure? I said, yeah, I'll go and goal. He said, okay, then you're in goal. And that's where it all started, from me just going in goal. I'd like to play in goal when I was younger and stuff like that. And thought, you know what, it might be just one off. Nobody else has owned up. I'll go in the sticks. Lo and behold, I was there for about 10 years afterwards. So I remember the game pretty well.
Did you have gloves in that then? Or some did, some
I think they were in the bag or something, or I might not have had any, you know. So we played the Brow, and I think young Kevin Thompson was young. Kevin Thompson was young then. I can't remember the side. Alan Morris was there, or he might have been a bit later. And there's a lad called Damo who used to play on the wing. He owned Bar 54. Do you remember Bar 54?
I think I do, I remember.
Damo was a painter. Yeah. He was playing. Anyway, I'd done well in goal, and that was
ginger hair, Dave.
He did. He did. Yeah.
And the Brow.
That's right. Yeah. And that was me. That was my start of my goalkeeping career, basically. So I never looked back then, and I never even thought about playing out. It was mad. I'd played out for so long, and I never even thought about playing out then. It was just become second nature to go in the sticks. Yeah. You know, so
did you enjoy it?
I just wanted to play. I just wanted to play for the Woodies, basically. Because, obviously, I'll talk about Billy a bit later on, but leading, I didn't know anything about Billy until later on. I was just sitting in the change rooms as a 16, 17-year-old, not saying a word, basically. getting there on time, playing, going home, or go to the alehouse. No, I wasn't really vocal then, you know. It was a big thing for me, and
yeah,
there was a lot of big characters in the changing rooms then.
Were you a little bit overawed, or was it...
I wouldn't say overall. They seemed like real men to me, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? As I say, I was 16, 17, and if I named some of the names in the Woody side, then it was Paul Ford, Degsy Garrick played, David Gates, Tommy Quirk, Greg Povell, I think, was in that side. But they were all men,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And not so much overall, but thought, I'm in the big time here,
yeah,
you know. And
really strong characters as well.
strong characters, yeah. And we were getting changes in the old TARDIS then.
Oh yeah, that's hardest.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't think the changes were either, you know, ready or we were getting changed in the TARDIS. So we were quite close together. So
there's one thing I was going to touch on there, mate, because I know you used to play down the barn, didn't you?
yeah,
And they had the gravel pitches, and not many people mention that, but you'd also have the Ango. You know, what amazing pitch that was. I know it's houses now. Young people might not know what we're going on about, but you used to play inside in the Ango, little 5-0 pitch. Yeah. And then the pitch outside, how good was that one?
It was unbelievable. It was a hidden gem, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
It was
when
a
you
hidden
look
gem.
back.
I remember the story. The youth leader at the time was called Gover, and he was mates with Paul Gascoigne. Wow. So we're all there. Guess he walks through the door, Gaza. So he's taking free kicks out the back, and we're like watching him going, is this real? This is not him. This can't be him. And he's pinging him in the stanchion, you know what I mean? 5 after, you know, in a row. And you think, that's the level you need to even get at. I think you had a pair of slip-ons on, you know what I mean? Pinging him and go. You know, it was unbelievable. Wow. Honestly, unbelievable. And what a story that is now. You looked at it then and thought, wow, it was big. But looking back now, he's probably one of the best English players ever. I'm trying to think who he would have been out then. Maybe Tottenham? Yeah, it could have been Tottenham. Or maybe the end. I don't think it was Newcastle. I think it might have been. Oh, it could have been Newcastle, yeah. Because it was early, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it could have been Newcastle. But yeah, unbelievable. Oh, good start to see Gaza pinging free kicks. Did you get to shake hands, meet him? Yeah, we got to meet him. He was brilliant. He was fancy. He was just like, basically, he was like us, like a school kid. Yeah. He loved it, you know what I mean? Yeah. He actually loved the attention off us. We were only kids. He absolutely loved it. Yeah, it was amazing to watch. So getting back to the story, Mick, you're in goal for Billy. Yeah. Yeah. So how successful was that team? I think the first side wasn't very successful, and he started signing a few players then. No disrespect to the likes of Paul Ford, who was brilliant player, Degsy, stuff like that. They were coming to the end then. Yeah. So then he started to sign, you know, really good players then, and it started to change, and the pressure started to mount. Even though we were probably in the Birkenhead third or fourth or whatever, you could see it starting to click. Starting to evolve. Yeah, it started, and to be fair to Billy, he made it. Yeah. He made them changing rooms, I swear to God, honestly. What can you tell, because people might not know Billy, but most of us do, obviously, we're off the Woodchurch. What kind of motivational skills did Billy have? Tactically, there was no tactics back in them days. Yeah. Whereas I know you coach and everything's about tactics now, isn't it? He just made you feel 10 feet tall. He made you feel like you'd go out and beat anybody. A lot of Billy's speaking in the change rooms was win your own individual battles, and you'll win the game. And there's nobody I would swap in this change room for them. Stuff like that just made you feel amazing, honestly. Yeah. And once I was starting to evolve character-wise then, because I was getting a bit older. Yeah. So then, obviously, I was still that quiet lad off the pitch. And then when you started to cross the white line, things started to change. You wanted to win things. It was all about winning. Yeah. Everything was about winning. Enjoying it, everything was about winning. Yeah. To be honest, not just yourselves and your teammates, but for him. And you're in goal at this point, mate? I'm in goal, yeah. Yeah, I'm in goal at this point, yeah. So you're in Division 4 and you're getting better players and it's evolving. What do you do then? Do you win the league? Win everything. Win everything? Win the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. Won everything. Absolutely everything. Yeah. That's quite unique, that, isn't it? So 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. Yeah. President's Cup. I think we beat the Ship.
So you're having big cup finals.
Cup finals, yeah. It was just everything.
A really good time.
Yeah, it was good time, really good time. And obviously things when we got to the first, obviously the first at that time was just as good as anything.
Yeah.
It was just as good as anything because they were all, either dropping down at the Prem or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a little story. The changing rooms were open down the bottom of Woodchurch, and we were playing a side called SDV. Do you remember SDV, Jason?
I remember them.
Were you a bit young then?
I was a bit young, yeah. I remember the name and I remember them. But
well, we played SDV I think it was up the top pitch. It wasn't out on the so-called Lions Den, Istanbul. It wasn't that one. It was the top one again. And we played SDV, and Ian Wone was in the side for SDV. Nigel Atkins was in goal for SDV. And I'll never forget it because I was watching Tranmere at a certain... I know I said at the start, I'm not fussed on him. I want him to do well. And I did watch him at a certain stage, and he was in goal for Tranmere. So we comes out the change rooms, and Atkins is in goal for SDV. He's skipper of SDV, runs up to the centre circle to shake hands with I can't remember who our captain was then. Shake hands with Ever, and I'm sure he thought he was a banger or something because he left all his gloves in the back of the goal and a towel. And when he got back there, all the gloves were gone. They were gone. And the kids were legging it off with him. You know what I mean? It just so happened he had a pair on.
Yeah.
His spares were in the back of the goal, and the kids had dropped a lot. Honestly, it was hilarious.
Welcome to the Woodchurch.
Welcome to the Woodchurch. Yeah, but he opened my eyes as well as a goalkeeper. His distribution, everything pinging, and you could see he was a pro. You know what I mean? He was a pro, and how good you had to be to make pro. His distribution, he was pinging balls. They were in my 18-yard box. Honestly, it was crazy, brilliant. But yeah, it was starting to get really interesting then. Winning
That's
things.
brilliant. And would he get the big lines that they used to get?
Oh, it's huge. Honestly, huge. And it must have been tough for away teams to come on the front pitch by the bats.
Yeah.
Not so much the back pitch, but on the front pitch by the bats, it must have been tough. I remember Matty Biggs playing in goal. I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning his name, but he played in goal for the Brow, and God Almighty, he got some stick.
He got a bit of stick.
Yeah, and I think he ended up walking off, and a good goalkeeper as well, very good goalkeeper.
Yeah, he is massive, very good lad, goalkeeper.
It was at that stage where it was me and him. He probably doesn't remember me that well, but I remember him, and we were both trying for the league representative side. Yeah. So we were both right there on the knockings, but he was very good. Yeah. But it was interesting.
So you get there, mate, and what happened then?
I got to that stage again, still feeling $1 million. I mean, you've been there, Jace, yourself, and you walk in the pub after you've won. Yeah. And
like royalty.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's shocking, isn't it?
The alphalas are, they're all over you, and they make you feel special, don't they? Yeah. In the pub. We were continuing on our way and had some really good Cheshire Cup games and stuff like that. I think we got to the quarters, semis. I think we got the semis one year with that team. We played the Waterloo at Blaken. You might have been on the coach watching.
I think I was, yeah.
We played the Waterloo at Blaken, and a lad was up front. Played for I think he was contracted somewhere, Barnet or something like that, and we beat them 4-0, and I saved the penalty. And he come up to me after the game. He said, we wouldn't mind having you in our team, like. But then you don't realise. Yeah. You don't realise you're pretty grounded, and you think, well, I'm just in the sticks for the Woodchurch. Yeah. Things started to become interesting then for me because there was sides watching me. Like the crew was watching me, Samuel watching me, and little bits of the Reds I got told, and we'll go on to that story a bit later. But
did you have any trials, Mick?
Yeah, the season I had with the Woodchurch, I won Players Player of the Year and Managers Player of the Year. And when Billy watches this, I will say to him I should have had all three. but he gave one to Johnny because I did the first two. I'd still pull him up on it, but Johnny was a good player as well. Warwick Rimmer presented the trophies, or was something to do with the trophies at the time, and said, "Do you want to go down, to Valley Road?"
Yeah, that's where Sammy used to train.
Sammy used to train, and it would have been just me, Nixon, and Danny Coyne at the time as well. And
two good keepers there.
Yeah, two very good keepers. I felt that's, you mentioned the word overall.
Yeah.
Then I did.
Yeah.
It was starting to get a little bit more interesting for me, and a little bit more scary as well, to be fair, because you don't think you're that good. There's people telling you, you should be doing things, you should be doing
We've
stuff.
had a few people on the show, and they said, like, when they've gone to big clubs, the same situation as yours, where they've gone there, and he'd come from Man United, and he'd come from somewhere, and he walked in and thought, hold on a minute, am I good enough to be here? And that's mostly a regret of people, what they've said, because instead of going, well, I don't care where you're from, we'll have a go.
I never quite had that mentality then. Later on in my football career, I had it.
That's what I'm saying, Mick. If there's any kids out there, I'd like to tell them, don't be overall.
Oh,
go in and
definitely.
give it your best shot.
No, live your dream.
Great bit of advice, mate. Yeah.
But later on in my career, I would have, if it was coming. When I say later, I didn't realise I was still that young for the keeper, if you know what I mean. I thought I was coming to the end of my time. I was in my, 20s, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, at that time, going down to Valley Road, I felt overawed and stuff like that, and I felt like I didn't belong. It's just something, you've got to knuckle down and do it yourself, haven't you? My dad wasn't football. He wasn't mad on... No, definitely not. And mum didn't care, basically. My dad didn't even watch me until I was about 20. So, and that was because the Woodchurch, because it was local.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I remember sitting in the Arrow Park pub and talking to Danny Coyne. He said, they were definitely looking at signing you. And at the time, Danny Coyne had got sent off do you remember the old Ayrton Park?
Yeah.
He got sent off there. And he had no backup keeper, and I think they had to sign Joe Murphy. Yeah, I think they had to sign him.
So, if lo and behold, if you'd have
if I'd really, I hate saying this, but if I had a father figure to really push me forward
on the
football side, things have been different. Wow. Definitely would have been different. Definitely.
So, you played for Billy there, mate. So, do you move to the Pelican then?
No, obviously, I'm still at the Woodchurch then, and obviously Saturday football started to take off, didn't it? Likes of, the West Cagga was at Pilton Royal, Mersey Royal. Cagga was at Mersey Royal, and I can't remember it was at Laird's, but Terry Schwannock was involved, I think. Yeah. And he wanted to take me down there.
Did Terry live on the Woodchurch then?
He did. And we had some sort of altercation in the Woodchurch, and it was over his dad's hip flask. He said I took his hip flask, which I never. Stowey took it, for a laugh. Remember Stowey, John Stowey? Stowey took it for a laugh, and it just folded through that. And obviously, if Terry watches this, and God rest his father's soul, but wasn't me anyway. So
you can't hold your hands to that.
I certainly wasn't drinking whiskey. So, but yeah, still at the Woodchurch, and still things were progressing for me, and then something triggered me. It started to get really tense with cup games and stuff like that. Yeah. And I was still young, and there were still big characters in the side then. And I lost my little way a little bit, going to Birkenhead, going to Atmosphere, going to the Dome. I lost my way a little bit. I started making mistakes on Sundays. Yeah. And it was costing the side games. And, I just fell out of love with it completely fell out of love with it, and it was my fault, but there was also big characters who didn't help in the side
and didn't want them mistakes.
They didn't want the mistakes.
Proper nail, yeah.
A certain lad, I didn't think was good enough anyway. So I retaliated there and said, you know what, I'm not going to play for you then.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
So that comes to the end then.
It comes to the end. Through me, and that is,
at least you're open and honest.
No, to be honest with you, it's the biggest regret for
Yeah.
me, because staying in the sticks, I'd probably made coin. I would have made money, but I didn't. But you can't take away.
So how long were you out the game for then?
I think only about a year. I think.
And then who did you sign for then?
I signed for the Pelly.
The Pelly.
Under Mickey Sutton, and played out. Played centre mid, yeah.
So did Mickey sign you as a keeper, or did he sign you as an outfielder?
No, he just said, where do you want to play? And I said, well, I think I'll be quite comfortable centre mid.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, then, let's give it a shot.
Brilliant.
And to be honest with you, I absolutely loved it, because there was no pressure.
Yeah.
There was no, obviously people who watch this podcast will go, it's only amateur football. It's only Birkenhead Sunday.
There's a lot of pressure.
There's loads of pressure. Yeah. There's loads of pressure. You're letting your teammates down. You're letting, the whole line down. You've seen the Woodchurch, haven't you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's some bad critics on that line, isn't there, mate?
Really bad critics about me for you.
So you've got to please them, haven't you?
You'd have to, mate, yeah.
So, went to the Pelly. Played in the Wirral, I think it was the Wirral second. Played with the likes of Jamie Forshaw. I'm going to have to apologise, because some of the names in the Lee Wharton, Paul Waters played, believe it or not. Yeah, he was good as well.
I remember Big Paul.
Yeah, he was coming to the end, but played.
He was still a good player, wasn't he?
Oh, yes, it was good. It's good.
So you've gone from having that intense clubs on a roll, big team talks, everything, to just going relaxing and playing football?
With the Woodchurch, everything was geared up to get to the Prem.
Yeah.
Everything. And we did.
I know that because my dad was a big part.
Your dad was a massive part of it. Yeah. Everything was geared up to the Prem. Yeah. Everything. And obviously, I left, went to the Pelly, and absolutely loved it. Won the second, and won the cup as well. But it was just, because there was no pressure.
Good times.
Home pitch was at Adder Park, which was absolutely chronic. Yeah. But loved it. Loved it.
I think a lot of people always, you look at the pitches now up at the park and there's not many teams on it. It used to be chock-a-block. You couldn't get on it, could you?
Sometimes you were getting changed outside,
Yeah.
Because you had to get there early to get
a changing
room, yeah. Wow. But absolutely loved it, yeah. Mickey Short was a very, very good manager.
What way was he good, Mick?
Again, very quietly spoken. Never see him rattled, and spoke to you like a man,
honest, did you?
Oh, dead honest, dead honest. Again, not tactically. There was no tactics involved. Again, in your own individual battles.
Yeah.
He was brilliant. Loved playing for him. Obviously one of the best managers I've played for. To be fair.
Brilliant. So how long were you there for then?
I think I was there for about two or three seasons.
Yeah.
And again, dwindled away. And again, folded, whether it was Mickey and his brother folded. No ideas, can't remember how we folded, but some good players there, really good.
The Pelly went, did it?
I think the Pelly went, yeah. Went as far as they could go.
Yeah.
And went. And then...
did you have a time out then, or did you sign for someone else straight away?
I think the time, I think I had a little bit of time out. I'd met my girlfriend, who's now my wife. Had a little bit of time out, and I moved into a gaff on the Woodchurch, Huddleston Close, and the guy next door run the horse and jockey. So he got wind of I'm not playing any football. Yeah. He said, "Come on, let's go and play some football."
Sign for the jockey.
Sign for the jockey, mate.
Yeah.
And again, loved it. Some great characters here. David Aiton was at the back. Andy Pughes, the first time I knew Andy since he was a kid.
Yeah.
Never realised how good he was until I went there. And he was only a young lad then. He played centre half. In fact, he played centre mid with me. And Mark O'Brien played centre back with David Aiton. Jamie Kelly played up front.
Good side.
Oh, scored
really
some goals.
Side, yeah.
Scored some goals. Again, won the league and cup with the jockey. Nice. And obviously a big character was. I'll have to mention obviously the manager Kenny Iam. His name was.
Yeah.
Great guy, again, very unassuming, dead quietly spoken.
Yeah.
Very good player as well back in the day, I believe.
Was he? I've never seen him play.
I think he played for the Vicks and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, good guy. And another character on the line was obviously Peter O'Brien.
God bless his soul.
God bless him. Yeah, he was amazing. He wants to kick every ball.
Yeah.
You know, and amazing lad. And you know,
and a good crack going back to pub.
To be honest with you, I didn't go back to jockey that much.
Didn't you?
No, because I'd met Kath, so I think she got the claws in, and in fact I think I was still bevying in the Woodchurch, to be fair. Yeah, I'm still going back there. I knew I was always going to go back to Woody and play.
Well, it would have just been round the corner from Udderston Close.
It was round the corner. In fact, my back gate opened onto it.
Did it just in and out?
So it seemed dead strange leaving the Woody side, but I knew that Woody side were going to go on to better things.
Yeah.
Whether they would have with me, I'm sure they would have, but they didn't, and he went on to win the Prem.
So what happened when you did the jockey, mate? Did that come to an end as well? Again,
everything. Whether I got disillusioned with football or whatever, whether they come to an end, I can't quite remember. But I think they did come to an end.
Yeah.
I think there's something happened with Rangers breaks one year, and I think that was enough. We had Peter O'Brien had some sort of ding dong with Rangers breaks, and whether we were going to get thrown out the league, I don't know. But I think that might have
had something to
do with it. But yeah, that come to an end.
Did you have a break again then? Or did you...
No, straight. Believe it or not, the Woodchurch Premier side, done things obviously what they did and fantastic. I was made up for them. A little bit of tinge of jealousy there, but I was still made up for them, you know.
Yeah. You're gonna have that though, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, it's not
a sour thing. It's just in the back of your head.
It's tinge of jealousy because you know. But I done what I done and left, and they done well. But they folded then. I think they.
Yeah, I was there for a few years.
I think were you there when they folded?
Yeah, we moved up to Pelly for a bit.
Yeah.
And then it just
that was the end of it then, wasn't it? Yeah. And then Billy started the Woodchurch again, and I was probably sitting in the Woodchurch, and he said, "Do you want to come and sign?" And I said, "Out."
Out.
I said, I want to sign out.
That's the first thing you said.
I said, I want to play out.
Yeah.
And he looked at me as if to say, you're stupid.
Yeah.
You know, go back in the sticks. You're still only young.
You're guaranteed like a game.
Yeah. So I said, no, out. You know, I want to prove something to myself back at the Woodchurch. And I did. I did prove something to myself.
So what league did you start in?
Again, the fourth.
Start from the straight away.
Again, from the fourth. And it was the likes of young Chrissy Whitley, who was only young, Pank, Philly Hudson. Raffo. Yeah. Darren Eaton. Damo. Martin Oliver. He come a bit later. Tommy Quirk played in the side as well. Tommy played. Can you
just tell us a bit about Tommy, mate? Because you played for the Woodchurch teams, and not many people know that because he played around, didn't he? Yeah. And he was a good goal scorer.
Frightening.
Brilliant, wasn't he?
Yeah, he reminded me so much of Teddy Sheringham.
That's a good comparison.
I mean, he wouldn't run all day for you like a Joey Martin.
Yeah,
he was another exceptional player. He wouldn't run all day like him. He would just be so clever and get himself into some spots, and you go, "How come he's there?"
I did see him play, and I knew he could hit a ball, couldn't he?
Yeah, he could ping the ball.
Really spot it.
Yeah. So we had a good side. Philly Hudson as well up front was absolutely ridiculous.
He scored some goals, though, hadn't he?
I remember one season. I don't know whether it was in the second or third. Obviously, we'd won the fourth. Third, again, second. So this is going back to the leagues again. I was a little bit older, late 20s. This would have been.
Did you enjoy that journey a little bit more though, because you could take it in a bit more?
Well, I was skipper at the club.
Oh, was you?
So I enjoyed it. He made me skipper, Billy. Where it come from, I don't know. Whether because I was a little bit older and the lads were only in the early 20s, and I was late 20s. But I did enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. But going back on Philly, Christ,
mate, Phillips played for me at West Kirby with reserves and he scored something like over 40 goals. And
Yeah,
it was just
when
ridiculous.
when you look at a guy and you think, you know,
Yeah.
what's he gonna do? He could ping the ball from anywhere.
Yeah, he could score all sorts of goals as
Yeah,
well.
everything. And we played, I think it was the second division one year, and we won the second and got presented with the trophy in Putin Vicks, and he actually broke Jimmy Dyble's goal scoring record that season. Yeah. And it stood for years.
Yeah.
And he broke it that season. And it shows how old I am. In the Vicks at the time, young Dean Stewart was picking up Youth Player of the Year for the Shafts. Wow. With Jimmy Stewart and all that, and Jamie Campbell. Yeah. So it shows you how old I was then. So they were only kids then. So yeah, gone back through the leagues with them. Wirral amateur winners, Tony Smith Memorial winner. I'll tell you a story about that in a bit. Yeah, Billy never won the Wirral amateur, he won the Wirral Am. But yeah.
There's some finals like, haven't you?
Yeah, like Graham Sooner said, throw your medals on the table, you know.
Get on with it next year.
Yeah. So I could certainly throw your medals on the table. There's there's loads of lads with illustrious careers than me, but I'd hold my own with medals wise.
I'm just saying though, because finals are special days, aren't they?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Especially a skipper.
Yeah.
Especially a skipper. Yeah.
When you look back on your career now, myself, and you think of finals, and even when I was a manager, you think, oh, when you won that. Yeah. You know, you don't appreciate it at the time as much because you like you say, you're thinking of the next one, the next year. Yeah. It's never going to end.
I was like you said, I was never one for that. I was never one for, you know, once the medal was there, it was done. Yeah, for me, it was thinking about next year and thinking about, because I was coming to me later years, it was thinking
enjoy the night and then next
enjoy the next one. And but with Billy Platt again, made you feel $1 million. I'd like to say something here about one of the finals that I played in, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, mate.
Under Billy Platt, I can't remember the year, we played at Heswell, and I don't know whether it was maybe the league final for the first. I think it was the first. We were challenging for the league with the likes of the Parkview, or I think they were called the Livy then in the Parkview. Yeah. It was Gibbo and that. Yeah. Lee Gibbo, Locho, Gain Speedy, Philly Woods, all good players in their own right, you know. So we picked them for the league that year. So it was a good achievement for us, for the young lads to start off, the likes of Whittle, who was brilliant as well. So it was their, I don't know whether it was their first final, I'm not really sure, but we ended up drawing 5-5. Philly Hudson had scored all 5.
Wow.
And he also went to penalties. But in the meantime, it'd gone to penalties, and I remember them making a sub just late on. I don't know how they made it, to be fair. I think it was a little bit of skullduggery going on. And they made this sub, and Gibbo ended up going in goal. And he ended up saving all kinds of penalties, you know what I mean? Yeah. Philly actually scored his. I think he was the only one to score. And they won the final, but Philly had scored 6 and we ended up on the losing
team.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I was skipper that day, and I felt for the young lads. I mean, I'd been there, but I really felt for them. But you just know they're going to have plenty. Yeah. You know, they're going to have plenty. But I remember the day well, the Livy or the Parkview, whatever they were called that day, they all rocked up in suits. So they wanted it, you know. They got off the coach and they were all in suits ready, and I thought, good on.
Made it occasion.
Yeah, good on you, you know. And for our lads, their time will come. And it did. Yeah. And it did. And some, you know. So, yeah, enjoyed it. Really enjoyed that stage in my career. And, you know, there was a little story about the Tony Smith. We'd been playing in that for a couple of seasons, and obviously we'd never won it. And I think we won it at the Vicks. I don't know whether it was Sunday or a bank holiday. Now the Tony Smith Memorial was for Speedy's dad.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was for Speedy's dad. So ironically, we played their side, which I think was the Corsair at the time. He might say something else when he sees this, but we ended up winning the final of Vicks. I think Tommy Quirky scored the winner, and as you get presented with your medal, I looked across at him, Speedy, and you know the dejection on his face, it was like, Christ almighty. I actually went over to him and tried to give him my winners medal, and Speedy being Speedy said no. I knew he wanted it that much, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I went, yeah, you can have mine. But he didn't take it. Like,
that's a great gesture, though.
Yeah, I was gutted for him because he was a good. Obviously, I'd spent a bit of time through school.
And it must have meant so much for him on the day. You know.
It did, and I could see it. And again, you know, I knew there would be plenty for me in the future. So
brilliant, that mate.
Yeah. So, but yeah, enjoyed playing out under Billy Platt, other than in goal under Billy Platt. So.
Did you get to the Cheshire final with Bill?
Yeah, that was a little bit. Yeah, we got to the Cheshire final with Bill, and it was a little bit of a sour one for me. This was later on. Right. This was much later on for the Woodchurch. I know we're going back and forward, but I'd been back to the Woodchurch that many times, you see. This Woodchurch side had the likes of Andy Pewin and Jamie Holmes, and again, Danny Pove, I think. The Premier side, when they won the Premier again. Yeah. So, yeah, we played Poulton Royal at Harrison Drive in the side and ticking along okay, and get to the final up at Crystalton against the Queen's Towers from Wallasey.
Yeah, James Lough and
that. Yeah. And outside the Woody, and obviously, you know, I'm still touch and go whether I'm going to play anyway, because we've jumped forward a little bit here, Jace, but I'll explain. I was about 35 then. Yeah. And it was touch and go whether I was going to play, because I was in and out of the team there at that age, and there was young lads, you know, much fitter and better than me. Well, I wouldn't say better technically, but much fitter. Yeah. So I'm already thinking outside the Woody, you know, whether I'm going to play today. I was always one of them, boots clean, ready, you know, me mundials, sparkling, and tie-ups and all that. So I was ready, like.
Just waiting for the nod.
Yeah, so we get up to the change rooms at Crystalton, and he said, I'm going to play Mr. I'm not going to name them, because I don't want to. I'm going to play Mr. X and Mr. X in front of you. And I said, no. Everybody was shocked at it, because they just got off the coach from Aintree, pissed. You know, in the suits.
In the suits.
In the suits. Cheshire Cup final. You know, they would have their chance again. That was my chance.
That was your,
That was a medal for me that I'd always wanted. Yeah. So they completely ruined it for me, to be fair. And coincidentally, we got beat. We got beat by the Towers. I wouldn't say they were the best side on the day, but things could have been different, I think. Yeah. And I lashed me medal in the woods. So it wasn't for me, like. Gutted. Absolutely gutted. And for me, that was the end of the Woody for me.
Was it?
I think Billy knew anyway.
Yeah.
But he was always dead nice, Billy. He wouldn't want to tell you, you know what I mean? Because I was dead close to him. He was like a father figure. But there was better players coming along at the time. Technically, probably not better.
What we're saying, more legs.
More legs.
Yeah.
And I got that, you know what I mean? I understood that. But for me, I thought that was a little bit of a kick in the teeth to end on that from the Woody. So
yeah, I can see where you're coming from. No, you're thinking last, but they're going to get other finals.
They're going to get other, especially Cheshire.
Your last throw of the dice, and let's be honest, that's one of the pinnacles of your career, the Cheshire Cup.
Well, I'd played in the Cheshire twice and got to the quarters and the semis, I think. And I remember we played Stockport side. I think you were only a young lad then, mate. We played the Stockport side down at bottom. And Stockport champions for about 18 years. Yeah. We had about one ball between us. They come out with about 6 balls. They went home with one. You know what I mean? I think they beat us about 6-0. Beat us about 6-0, yeah. But yeah, so I had good time.
It's hard once to win the Cheshire, it is, mate.
It was the Cheshire for me was the days out. Yeah. I mean, the journey. We went up to Blaken twice. We got drawn on Blaken twice against I said before, the Waterloo and the Cop 58 either side, brilliant pitch. And it was like our day out. Honestly, you know, the kids, when you go past an offer licence, it was like our day out. The fella was rubbing his hands when he walked in. And when we walked out, he was like this, had his head in his hands. He had no stock left.
Pick clean.
Oh, pick clean. I say it was like our day out for the kids, you know, the young spuds and stuff like that. On the coach journey on the way home.
Some good times.
Well, obviously we all had songs, didn't we, on the coach, and he made a song up for me, My Girl, but it was called Schmeichel. So it was good times, and it made you feel great, but ended on a little bit of a sour note, the Woodchurch for me, and that was
just that moment, But I can
so,
understand why, mate.
So what happened there then? I plucked up the courage to say, I think I finished the season with them. Yeah. And then I plucked up the courage to say to Billy, you know, I'll have a transfer. And he said, are you sure? And I said, yeah. And I said, you know, he said, okay then. I think it's the right choice. So, as I say, Billy's my mum's next door neighbour, and I love him as like a father, you know. So, and I said, yeah, right choice, I think. And I went and joined the mighty stirrup with yourself.
And I was there then, wasn't I? Yeah.
With yourself, yeah.
So coming into that team as well, mate, there was some good players there, young players, Jay Burks, Timmy Burks, Morney. Yeah. You know, just a young side who was just transitioned from the Wirral Sunday to the First Division.
To the First Division in the Birkenhead.
And we didn't win in our first year.
No, it was the second year I come.
And you come the second year, didn't
you? Yeah. Even then I thought, I'm going into a good side here at 35, 36. I'm going into a really good side. And I backed me. The first, to be honest with you, I looked at your fixtures and you'd lost the first 6 games.
I think we had, yeah.
Yeah, you'd lost the first 6. And when I went there, tried to settle you down.
Settle saying that.
It coincided, something clicked, didn't it?
Yeah.
I remember going in the change rooms at the Balla, very first game. And I don't know, who would have been in that division then from the Balla? I know Locho played. Who would have been?
They had the team in Birkenhead.
Birkenhead boys, maybe?
Yeah, there was. We played them in the final as well.
Yeah, played them in the final, the Vicks. Yeah. Maybe Birkenhead boys. Yeah. That was my first game. Yeah. And I think we won that game all drew. And then we went on an unbeaten run. Yeah.
And went down to the last 2 games of the season, didn't it?
Yeah. We won the title, Won the title there. So it was another medal. And
it was a good run, that though.
It was unbelievable. About 20 odd games unbeaten, you know. Yeah. League and Cup and stuff like that. It was
that Jamie Forshaw and Morney banging in goals. We were
incredible front 2. Yeah. My obviously midfield partner was Jay Burke, who was another incredible footballer, but just lose his head now and again, didn't he?
But he was a great talent though, when he was on his game.
Very good, very good. And
I think you've played for every pub on the estate there, mate, haven't you?
I've chalked them all off, because we've missed the Saturday out, haven't we?
Yeah, we missed the Saturday off, yeah. So we'll touch on your Saturday career, mate. You played for Delta.
Delta was a little thing. Was my 2 uncles played there?
Yeah. What league were they?
Birkenhead and Wirral.
Yeah.
Lower divisions, and it was, you know, I found it dead easy, to be fair. I was playing out then as well. Playing out there. I found it pretty easy, but I shouldn't really say that. But John Mazier played for the Delta. Yeah. A very good player as well, by the way.
I haven't seen him ref.
Yeah, he's a good player, good player. I mean, they weren't much Delta, but just went there and enjoyed it. Went to Premier Brands. Yeah. Went there for a season. Played on the front pitch, was immaculate.
Was this down at Cadbury's?
Yeah. Immaculate pitch. Played for them. And then we joined up with the Arab with all the lads, which was, you know, Gloomy, Smitty, Mark. Oh no, Mark was at the Styles. Played for the Arab for a bit. But again, it was Liverpool for me. Yeah. So Liverpool was my go-to on a Saturday. And I know you tried to get me.
I tried to get you to West Kirby, mate. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you the story about that. I don't know if you can remember it. You said, listen, come down and just play for me. And I said, I want to watch Liverpool. I'm not interested in Saturdays. I want to do my own thing. And you said, well, we've got a pre-season friendly. And I said, who's it against? And you wouldn't tell me. So he said, just come down to West Kirby and be there. Lo and behold, it was Kerwish and frigging Wales you took us to. You know, journey up there, Carsous or whatever they were called. It was a journey up there. I was on the bus all day, then played, and then my Saturday was gone.
I thought you'd get on the coach, you know.
I could have killed you, because I tell you who was there then. Mickey McGrath was there, wasn't he then?
Yeah.
And I thought, where's he taking us here? Don't we always going up the road? My Saturday was finished.
Yeah.
So you ended my Saturday career as well, but no, I went to
you went to Styles for a bit.
Went to Styles, brilliant side in the Birkenhead Middle League, and to be fair, they were on the verge of going into the West Cheshire.
Yeah,
because they were that.
They were a good standard.
They were brilliant, and the Birkenhead Middle then was a very
strong
good
league.
Yeah, Kings, Abbotsford, Mersey Ferries, I think. When I played, New Brighton come into it with the likes of Carl Gidman and that. New Brighton actually come over to it and won the division. Yeah. That season, yeah. But the Styles won everything. I didn't win everything with them. I come late. But brilliant.
Like the Abbotsford were good though, weren't they?
The Abbey were good, yeah. Players. Yeah. The Kings were good as well. I like Clinton Ellis up front. Yeah, some really good players. And the Abbey had like Carl McHugh and stuff like that. Is another good player.
So it was really good standard.
The talent was brilliant back then, honestly. A lot of players should have made it. Every time I watched them, you know, I thought, you are really good.
So, Mick, you've done a best 11 here. So we're going to go through it. So the players played with, yeah, obviously yourself in goal.
Well, that's going to kick up a fuss, isn't it? Really. But I'm going to stick myself in because I can't stick myself out. So I'm going to stick myself in there because I believe I was probably the best keeper around at that stage.
At that time, that's no problem.
And that's not me being big-headed. You don't realise how good you are until people say, when you finish, you don't realise how good you are.
That's it, mate, yeah.
So
you got Pank. Pank left back.
Speaks for himself, doesn't he?
Speaks for himself, the one. Pewey and Smitty.
Andy Pugh was ridiculous talent.
I played with Pewey to Woody myself and then we went to Pelly.
I actually watched Andy Pugh score probably the best amateur goal I've ever seen. And it was up at Vauxhalls, whether he was playing for the Vicks at the Vauxhalls. And I think John Gann was in goal and he hit this volley on the touchline next to the dugouts. Yeah. And it flew into the top corner stanchion. Oh. It was I remember it because Harry Wigg picked me up. I used to work with Harry Wigg, you see. So Harry Wigg picked me up and we went up there on a Wednesday night. And even Harry looked at me and went, what's just happened here? It's just like a half volley, poof, wow. Like a rocket, brilliant.
So Pewey and Schmidty?
Schmidty got in because he was told he couldn't, basically. Yeah. Schmidty was told that he couldn't kick it far enough in the mud and stuff like that. And I thought he was very, very good, Schmidty. Yeah, he was. Very, very good. And a little bit like Jockey Hansen, wasn't he?
No one got... You always know a good defender. Yeah. No one gets past him.
And like a waif, but solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
And quick.
Yeah, and quick, yeah. Yeah, he was very good, Schmidty, yeah.
Mark Povell in at right back.
In his early days, he used to think he was Lakatouche. You know, he used to play for Romania with his little curtains, and he played up front and scored some great goals, by the way, and good player. But I watched him play full back for the Woodchurch.
Yeah, I did. He had some great, unbelievable years. Yeah, I know he didn't like playing it, but he did.
But he done a job. Yeah, and he goes in, and he was ruthless in a tackle. Yeah. Going back again to a story, we played for his Alpha. And we were playing Liso Youth in their own backyard where the Liso Rec was. Yeah. One pitch on its own. And he hit this lad, and I swear to God, he ended up in a bike. They were both tied up in the bicycle. Honestly, the side of the pitch. And Mark just got up and walked away like you shouldn't have a bike on the side. You know what I mean? It's Mark all over that, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, exceptional. Yeah, exceptional.
Then you got Sheridan.
Paul Sheridan is my uncle.
Yeah.
And he was just brilliant. He had a couple of seasons with the Woody.
What position would he play in?
Centre mid. Centre mid. He played for the old Upton Villa with the likes of Kenny McKenna and stuff like that. Yeah. Brilliant. Absolutely. How he never made it is beyond me.
And you've got him in the middle with Paul Stevo?
Again, was my captain for a few seasons. And
good player, Paul.
Unassuming lad, but again, once he crossed the line, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Loved playing with him. Yeah.
I think sometimes you forget how good Paul was. He was in an era where it was a hard era, wasn't it?
He just got on with it.
He just got on with it, mate.
Got on with it.
And he always had a good game, didn't he?
He was a 10 out of 10
every week. Yeah.
There's another lad that could have got in the side there, but obviously Panks just picked him because of his age and what Pank could do. But Spud, do you remember Spud?
Yeah, I remember Spud. Spud was brilliant.
Spud was like Dennis Irwin.
Yeah.
He was a 10 out of 10 all the time, and I want to mention him because he was brilliant.
He was, mate. You're right. You got Gatey, David Gates.
Do we need to say anything about him?
He megged me about 60 times in our road every day.
Again, I do like to talk about what he could have done, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. It was just a complete waste of talent.
Yeah.
The best player I've ever seen.
Let's be honest, Gatey could have made pro, couldn't he, mate?
He was the best. He was arguably the best player I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I remember we played the Windsor at Belvedere in the, might have been the Wirral Amateur or something like that, because we were across Wallasey, and the lad at half time that was marking him, he went off because he'd already scored that to Creaker, and the lad actually didn't want to come back on. Wow. He'd megged him that many times. He just got so fed up.
Bit embarrassing for him.
It was just. I don't even think he got taken off. He walked off himself.
Wow.
It was one of them moments where you just got to see it to believe it. It's just. He was one of them, Creaker. If you were a forward, I think you'd get a little bit frustrated with him because he'd beat a man about 10 times.
Yeah.
And because you were a forward, you've already made that run and then come back out and start to make the run again.
Yeah.
But oh my God. Unbelievable. And he used to turn up with like his boots in a quickie bag, stuff like that. Honestly, and the same quickie bag would last him the full season. Don't even think he'd clean his boots. He'd have no shinnies. He'd probably put sponges in, But
unbelievable talent, mate.
Yeah.
Leeson
speaks for himself again.
Yeah. Strong player, like, wasn't he?
He was a winner. Just a complete winner, and I loved him. Like a lot. He's a bit like Marmite, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
A lot
of people, because he case you with the will to win, people didn't like him.
I loved him.
That was the environment I was brought up.
Yeah, I loved him, and he was a winner. And he was dead talented. Dead talented. He done everything, wasn't he? He was quick along the ground. He was very talented.
Then you got Tommy Quirk.
Again, we spoke about him before. He was my little Teddy Sheringham, and played with him in, and I played with him out. So I had the pleasure of playing with him out as well. It's good. And
then up front with Hudson, we've already spoke about Philly. Yeah.
Ridiculous talent again.
So what you were saying before is that when Gatey had the ball, Quirky and Hudson would have been going off their heads.
I don't think Tommy was. I don't think Tommy go off his head because he probably hadn't made the run. It just fall to him naturally.
That's the one. Yeah.
I think, and probably Hudson probably never made the run either. But Christ, two of them strikers that I've just named there.
That's a great team, that, mate.
It is. I could have. Again, it's dead hard. I could have put John Stobart in, who was good. Neil Ellis, exceptional talent. Ian McKay was brilliant,
Yeah, I played with Ian Nardo.
Yeah,
he's a brilliant player.
Like wizard, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But I could have named loads, honestly.
So the players against, mate, you put Nigel Atkins in goal.
Pro.
We spoke about him before.
Himself. He's still making a massive living, isn't he?
Chris Hill.
Yeah, Hilly.
I don't really know Chris Hill.
Hilly was at Samia, and I come across Hilly when I was playing for the Jockey, and he was playing for the Swan.
Right.
Again, he was a leader for the Swan, and he was.
Oh, I know Chris Hill. Yeah.
He was at Samia. He was at Samia for a bit.
I didn't know he was at Samia, but he played for the Swan for a bit.
Yeah, he played for the Swan. He was 10 out of 10,
Yeah.
So.
Lacey speaks for himself, doesn't he?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Monster. Absolute monster.
Do you know what? I know Lacey's off ours day, but he played for the Dock and stuff like that, but he was a great player.
And
a good lad as well.
An exceptional lad on and off the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And next to him, you put Alan Morris. Now, Alan used to work with my dad, so I do know him. I used to watch Alan play for the Royal, and what a player.
What a player.
Absolutely amazing, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I only come across him for the Brow when he was at the Brow, and unbelievable. He used to have a lad alongside him in the early days called Kenny Marmion.
Yeah, I played with Kenny.
Kenny was just, he was obviously Alan Morris taught Kenny, and Kenny was a great player, but Alan Morris, unbelievable.
And then later on, he played with John Hammond, didn't he? Alan,
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he? Yeah.
Wirral, yeah.
He was, and probably taught John. Well, I don't think he did because John got sent off more than anybody, didn't he? So
He was on his own. That's how he got so good.
oh, he was brilliant.
Yeah.
I used to think, who the hell is he?
Yeah.
You know, and I only knew who he was later on.
Brilliant, mate. Michael Skillen.
You know Mickey Skill, don't you?
Yeah.
A winner. Just a winner.
So he played. So the back four would be Chris Hill left back, Lacey, Alan Morris, Michael Skillen.
Yeah, I don't think Skillen played there, like, but I just wanted to fit him in somewhere because he was, every time I played against him, or you know, he was 100%.
Good amateur career.
He was good, really, and his outfit was, you know, I believe he was exceptional, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kev Thompson. We've had Tomo on the show, mate. What a guy, what a player.
Unbelievable lad off the pitch, and you know, just as good.
So humble.
Just as good on it.
Yeah.
And obviously, I seen, you know, Harry Wigg play when I was a kid, and Tomo was right up there with probably one of the best we've produced on Birkenhead. He was brilliant.
Ian Wone. I know Woney went to Forest, but I never really seen Woney because he just left off the scene as I got.
It's a little bit of a bizarre one, this, because when we played against SDV, Ian Wone played and Gatey played.
Yeah.
And for me, Gatey was better than Wone. But it's horses for courses, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's we know Gatey's story. You know, he just messed it up, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, if anybody should have made it, should have been him. But Ian Wone made it, and you can't knock what he's done in the game. He was exceptional.
Yeah, I think he's assistant manager now at Burnley.
Yeah.
He's had a great career.
I think his family is still local, I think.
Are they?
Yeah.
So you got Greg Stones.
Probably the toughest player.
Played against Greg.
Yeah, toughest. Again, monster.
Yeah.
Monster in centre mid. You know, I was probably coming to the end, but I couldn't get near him. I felt
could pass.
I felt like I got battered when I come off that shit. We played the Dock in semi-final, I think, at Hooley's or the Veronica or whatever. And come off the pitch, I thought I'd been battered. Honestly, really good.
Really athletic, wasn't he?
Strong.
Yeah, strong.
Everything, done everything.
Yeah.
And had a good career as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think he went to Stalybridge, didn't he?
Stalybridge, Wirral.
Yeah.
Had a good career, mate.
Yeah, good
player. Chrissy McGinn.
The story about Chrissy, obviously, we never crossed paths to speak to, but I was playing in the Birkenhead and Wirral League, and I think he was playing for the Gun, the 1 o'clock Gun at the time. Yeah. And as soon as I seen him, I thought, oh my God, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
The fastest thing I've ever seen on 2 feet.
His
finishing was just ridiculous because he never pinged the ball. He'd always pass it into the net.
Yeah.
Or every time I seen his goals, or come across it, probably on the receiving end of a couple, he'd pass it into the net. Yeah. They weren't like, you know, pinging.
He made it look easy, basically.
Exceptional talent.
The good players make things look easy.
Yeah, exceptional talent, yeah, and should have done more as well.
Martin, how do you say that, Cannon?
Yeah, Martin Cannon's got into that side because he was so awkward, and he was a teacher at Woodchurch High School not so long back.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he played in the Wallasey League for, I think it was Parkfield or something like that. Every time we played against him, he was just a nightmare. He just caused us havoc. As I said, just one of them. He reminded me a bit like Mark Hughes. Back to goal, all this, you know, just a nuisance. And that's the reason why he's got in. You know, nobody will know him, but he's got in because he was a pest to the Woodchurch, you know. A bit like Carl McHugh was a pest to the Woodchurch when he was at Sun Valley.
Yeah.
A bit like that. Because Carl McHugh was an absolute pest.
That, yeah.
He was a pest. So that's why he's got in. Yeah.
And Peter Davenport?
Speaks for himself, doesn't he? Ex-pro, nightmare.
I only played against Davenport when he went back to the Queens after he'd had this professional career.
Yeah,
but you can tell he was still good then.
Total moaner, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Just moaned constantly on the pitch, didn't he?
Yeah.
But he's entitled to moan with his career that he had.
Well,
unbelievable.
What a career he had as well, mate.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah.
So, Mick, who's the best player you come up against after all that now? Who would you say? I know it's hard, but it's the one that really, really stands out.
Well, I had problems with Greg Stones, but he was. I had problems because he was good, he was really good, you know. But there was lots. There
will be lots, like, but that's what I'm trying to say, is the one that stands out. Like you said, when you come off the pitch, you've been battered. So, like...
I would have picked Greg, but I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go with Lacey.
Lacey?
Yeah, he's just exceptional.
Yeah.
Exceptional talent. And again, these lads that I'm talking about now were also exceptional off the pitch.
Yeah.
And it makes them so special, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it does, mate.
So, yeah. Lacey, I'm going to go with Lacey.
That's a great choice, mate. And obviously,
I'm
bigger than mine.
And obviously, Gatey's the best. With.
Yeah. So. All right. So, what was it like being a centre mid, mate? What did you like about playing?
Well, like I said before, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. My touch was decent, you know. Maybe that's back to the tennis ball days from
Out of will. Yeah.
But my touch was good. I was decent with me back to goal or me side on. You know, as a decent centre midfielder, I've always think you've got to be side on with play and you know, and being aware of what's around you. And I was pretty decent.
That awareness is a big thing.
I was pretty aware what was around me all the time.
So just on that, Mick, because my next question is, any advice to young players? So while we're talking about that, would you say getting side on, awareness?
For the kids, I would just say go out and enjoy it and never let anybody tell you that you can't.
That's a great shout, yeah.
Yeah, you can achieve anything. You know,
can, mate,
yeah. I mean,
have that belief.
You can achieve. I mean, you can achieve anything, and I think there's a lot of young talent. I've seen you coaching and stuff like that, and I'm sure there'll be plenty coming through and achieving. But believe in yourself.
Yeah, you've got to put that belief.
Early days for me, I never believed in myself that much until
like you said about the one with the Danny Coyne one,
you don't realise how good. Obviously, if we have conversations, me and you are having conversations and our mates around because we're in the same circle.
Yeah.
If you asked my mates the conversations, you would say, is Mickey better in goal or is he better out?
Yeah.
They would say he was decent out, but exceptional in goal.
Yeah.
And you didn't know that much, did you? I mean, about
I didn't know about the goalie one. There was only played instead of, so I'd say out instead of in.
Yeah. But that's a little bit of a regret from me.
Okay.
But on the youngsters, enjoy it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't. Because you can.
Best game ever involved in, mate?
It would have to be the 5-5 one.
The 5-5 one.
For the wrong reasons, obviously, but the enjoyment and...
Philly scored in 6.
I don't think he enjoyed it as much as... I mean, I didn't enjoy it afterwards, but when you look back on it, it's like Roy the Rover stuff, isn't it?
That's madness.
You know, you'd be reading about it in comics, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
The centre forward goes in goals and saves penalties.
You would, mate.
Yeah.
So, any regrets?
The regrets of the trials.
The trials.
Obviously going on the Reds one, because we never picked on the Reds one. I was working at a park at the time, you know, at a park hospital as a kitchen porter, and I got promised trials at the Reds. I think Hughie McCauley was there, Dave Shannon, and Highway, and I was due to get. I only done three hours at Allen Park a day, and so I was due to get picked up at 10 o'clock. And I went out to the other, instead of going out to that exit, I went out the other one because I didn't believe in myself. And at that time, it was maybe early 90s or middle 90s. They were all my heroes.
Yeah.
I basically, my pants fell out of me. So that's a massive regret. And not staying in the sticks is a massive regret. When I was playing out...
It's just like you said before, when you were a young age and you thought that was it.
I was only in my
20s.
I was only in my 20s. I thought I could have, definitely. I mean,
keepers play till 40 now.
Of course they do, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to do that, like. But
no, but I'm saying that they have a longer career, sort of.
Listen, the goalkeepers union, we're all mad, aren't we?
Yeah,
we're all a bit mad, but definitely a regret that, and you don't realise until you finish. You don't realise how decent you were. You don't realise, you know, what you could have done. But it's one of them, isn't it? You can't change it.
Well, mate, what do you see happening in the future for Mike?
Just to continue to be a better, version of myself, and just, I wouldn't mind managing one day.
I think you'd be a good manager.
Yeah. I'd love to manage the Woody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see where that takes me.
That's a brilliant show.
I'd love to. I'd absolutely love to.
I'd love to see that happen.
I think I got loads to offer to the young lads. Coming through. But it's hard again, isn't it? The football's changed so much.
It has, mate. But I always go back to, if you're honest with people and you're your own man and you're just yourself, I think it's easy because people just respect you for who you are and what you are. Yeah. And it's the same vice versa.
Yeah, it is. But they don't want to play football now, Jay, do they?
I think it's coming back.
Yeah.
I think it's got back.
I mean, obviously with the kids that you've got, they thrive on it. I'm talking about the open age stuff.
I'm saying now, I think there's kids getting to 16, 17 who are starting to think, well, we don't want to be going out, so we want to get into football, and I think it's got a little bit better. Well,
funny you should say that. I've been starting to look at the local football again, the likes of the Beck. I'd stopped completely because I didn't want to be that lad on the line to start screaming and shouting. When you're finished, basically, it's not your time, it's their time. Yeah. I went to watch the Woodchurch Rovers a couple of seasons back, and I found myself getting shouting on the line. Yeah. What are you doing, Mike? What are you doing?
You're basically coaching and thinking you've got something to offer.
But I thought, what are you doing? But
I know what you mean.
But a lot of it wasn't, constructive.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, what are you doing, Mike?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the amateur game is starting to get back, and obviously I've been following it recently, with Twitter and stuff like that. New Ferry Rangers are doing well, aren't they?
I'd love to see you as a manager, Mike.
Yeah, I think I'd have a lot to offer.
I think
I think that could be something I'd do in the future.
Anyone who can pass on things and be positive, they should be in a game. And I think that'll be you.
But it's a game though, Jace, isn't it? It's whether they take it, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think like the way you come across when people get to know you.
I've seen a lot of strops in my time, I've been one of them. I've been one of them myself. I actually threw my captain's armband down one night, and Billy said, "You're not getting that back." He gave it me back.
He did.
But it's how they take it, isn't it?
Oh, Mike, well, that's the final whistle, mate. It's been great talking to you.
Absolutely
we could spend all night here, couldn't we?
Yeah, absolutely loved it, mate.
Oh, thanks very much, mate.
Cheers, buddy.
And thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Okay, hope you enjoyed the show with Mick. Some great stories there from the amateur game on the Wirral. Please subscribe on YouTube. Please subscribe, it's free. Okay, press the like button as well. Also get us on Facebook and Insta. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.